Hello, welcome to CSL Boulder Valley Teaching Chapter. We're in Lafayette, Colorado, in the beautiful United States of America. And I'd like to welcome you to what we're calling the Community Connections. And it's a short talk, a 10 or 15-minute talk. And then we all get together afterwards and have these amazing conversations. The talk will be recorded. If you'd like to participate in the Community Connection Zoom room afterwards, you're welcome to come on live every morning at 10 a.m. Mountain. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Catherine to pray us in.
All right. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Please take a moment and take a breath. Bring your attention just to the seat that you're sitting in, the room around you, the light that flows through the window from the amazing sun that lights up our whole planet. And knowing that this sun is representative of the light that is within us all and the love that is within us all. Take me a moment just to allow that to grow within us and to know that this message that James speaks is the perfect thing for our hearts, allowing our hearts to open to the message and open to each other and open to this beautiful day. And knowing too that CSL Boulder Valley Teaching Chapter is a light in our little corner, shining, teaching, just glowing and helping us all to grow into the light of spirit that lives within. And knowing this, I just give great thanks for this time that we have together and for this message that James is going to share. And I say, again, great gratitude. Thank you. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Catherine. That's beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up a slide presentation. And I'm going to make this part smaller. Okay, here we go.
This is our place, come on in. Our place, so glad you're here. Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. Love lives here in this place. Welcome to our place, our sweet place.
Metaphysical balance. What in the heck is that? One definition is noticing if our attention is predominantly on the race consciousness or the group mind that we're constantly bombarded with. Things like screen time, addictions such as sugar, scarcity and lack around money, prescription and non-prescription drugs. Or are we embracing the sacred teachings, like the principles of the science of mind, or Lao Tzu, or David Hawkins, or any of the other myriads of bodies of knowledge that are out there that are at our fingertips? This picture is I took this picture on the way up to Allen's Park this last week. And there's this giant boulder. The boulder is probably 30 feet tall and maybe 50 or 60 feet wide. And there's this little tree growing out of the very top of the boulder. And I saw this and my head kind of exploded. It's like, whoa, this is a powerful metaphor. And I didn't know what the metaphor was going to be for when I took the picture. But as I was creating this talk, it's like, oh yeah, this is it. So the boulder is like the race consciousness or the group mind that we all live inside of day to day to day. And the tree is us. See, we can tap into the consciousness or the group mind around us and find the beauty, find the grace, And we can grow like this little tree is growing out of a rock. We can grow and embrace all the exquisite, the infinite, exquisite beauty and energy inside of us. So David Hawkins was a spiritual teacher. He recently passed on. But one of his amazing works is called The Map of Consciousness. And what he did is he had hundreds of people paired up, and they used muscle testing to create this map of consciousness. Muscle testing, just really quick, it's a way to utilize our bodies to access the entire universe, utilizing one of the principles of science of mind, oneness. Everything is connected, and we are connected with every other atom inside the entire universe. And we can use this muscle testing procedure to get extraordinary information. And how the procedure works is you ask a yes/no question, and then you use your body. You push against your fingers. There's lots of different ways to do it. One way to do it is to put two circles, put your fingers in two circles and pull. And when you ask the yes/no question, if the fingers stay hard, the muscles stay hard, that's a yes. If you ask the yes/no question and the fingers release, that's a no. Well, through hundreds and hundreds of muscle tests, they created this map of consciousness. One of the areas is called the energetic log, and it's numbers from 20 to 1,000. And then there's several other different logs, if you will, or ways of looking at things. The number log is really, really powerful. There's a piece at 200 inside this 0 to 1,000 or 20 to 1,000. At 200, there's a tipping point. And below 200, it's in survival. We're in survival. And above 200, we can move into reason and integrity, or we can move into a spiritual paradigm. The first time I saw this was years ago, and my teacher had it written on a whiteboard on her couch. And I walked in and we chatted a little bit. She said, "Hey, James, check this out." And I started looking at it, and she described what it was. And when she talked about 200 being a tipping point and how below 200 we're in survival, my head kind of exploded a little bit. And I got this, I'm gonna cough, hold on just a second. Excuse me. I realized that there were all sorts of domains in my life, big giant domains in my life, like my relationship with my wife at the time, that was in victimhood. I was below 200 in a bunch of my relationship with my wife at the time. And I've used this tool off and on through the years, and it's been very powerful for me. What I do is I notice if there's my body has a particular emotion or a feeling. It might be anger or fear. And then what I can do is I pull up this map of consciousness, and I can say, oh, I think I'm going to use one of my tools. I'm going to take a big old deep breath and get present in the moment and shift above 200 into courage or affirmation or empowerment. You can find this tool on the internet if you Google Map of Consciousness. There's lots of different varieties of the maps of consciousness. So you can find this if you want to utilize it in your life. As we shift from a mindset based in lack consciousness into abundance, a metaphysical shift occurs. The universe is constantly offering us gifts. When we open our arms and embrace these, an exquisite peace arises for us. And we can dance the dance of oneness inside of this peace. We can do a metaphysical jump from whatever the race consciousness is, whatever challenge area we're having. We can use that map of consciousness, that tipping point, and we can shift gears into peace. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. It's Lao Tzu. So another great tool to shift into metaphysical balance is surrender or release. And this is David Hawkins. With continual surrender, we begin to experience these states of peace with ever increasing frequency. At times, they may become quite profound and of greater and greater duration. When the clouds are removed, the sun shines forth, and we discover that peace was the truth all along. Surrender is the mechanism that uncovers the true nature of our existence. So I'm just going to backtrack back to the map of consciousness for just a moment. And peace is up here at 600 in the spiritual paradigm. And this next piece, the next thing I'm going to talk about is about peace. And I'm going to go ahead and shift it back down into the next slide. Once again, this is David Hawkins, and it's coming from his book called Letting Go. And this is actually a meditation or a process. And my invitation is that let me just do it this way. This is called Surrender to Ultimate Reality. And when I was reading different parts of that Letting Go book, what David Hawkins did is he went through that map of consciousness and he talked about several of the different layers, the different levels. And when he got to peace, this was in the book and it was amazing for me. And I want to share this process with you. This is a process for going deep inside. This is a process for noticing the goddess expression or the spirit expression that is at the core of who you are and at the core of every single human being on this planet. See, we all have this goddess or God or spirit manifestation. And my invitation is that you get very present in the moment and close your eyes, drop into wherever you are. Relax your shoulders. Continue breathing. And as I read this, surrender to ultimate reality. Notice what's happening at your core. Notice any emotions or feelings that might be arising. Notice if there is peace available to you. The hallmark of the level peace is desirelessness. There is no need to want for anything because everything manifests in our life spontaneously and automatically without conscious will or effort. Thoughts held in mind at this level of peace are very powerful and tend to manifest rapidly. The phenomenon of synchronicity is continuous. The mechanisms of cause and effect and the inner working of the universe stand forth clearly revealed. As we are now witnessing the very basis of reality itself. These very high states of awareness happen spontaneously and unexpectedly, and they tend to occur and stay for longer and longer amounts of time. Once this has been experienced, our intention automatically becomes to make the state of peace permanent. Keep breathing. When you're ready, bring your attention back to the room where you're sitting. And I'm going to pull up another slide. So my invitation for you, as you dance this dance with metaphysical balance, is to use the tools like the map of consciousness, noticing scarcity or lack, and embracing surrender and release. And the last tool or meditation of surrendering to ultimate reality. We can embrace metaphysical balance. It does take practice, and it does take some intentionality, some intention. And my intent and my invitation is that you play with this. Let's move into prayer. I invite you to shut your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. I invite you to access that interior beauty, that interior state of peace that is at the core. See, we do this dance of moving into high vibration inside of us and coming back out to the third dimension or the physical reality. And as we practice the tools, surrender, map of consciousness, we have more and more access to things like peace and bliss. And I invite us to put our attention there as we turn to prayer, as we turn to that exquisite beauty and grace that is always at our fingertips inside of us. That is the context and the foundation of this prayer. Breathe into that as I breathe into it too. I am so thankful that we have this thing called CSL. We have this thing called CSL Boulder Valley, wherein we can practice these amazing gifts, the principles of the science of mind, or Lao Tzu, or David Hawkins, or we can practice meditation, or we can walk in nature. All of these things are a way to access the peace and bliss inside of us. And I am hugely thankful. Thank you. I send my thanks to you personally, each person watching, and I send my thanks to every being that watches this recording. Behind all this prayer is that one mind, that exquisite combination, that spiral, that infinite spiral of love and law both. And I release this exquisite teaching, this exquisite prayer into that beautiful infinite spiral. And I know that anything that is not of this prayer, anything that is not of this one mind, anything that is not love and law is gently invited off to the side. And exquisite presence and oneness and grace moves with you throughout this day, this week. I bless you. I honor you. And I release this prayer into the love and law now. And I invite us to say together, and so it is. So this is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to contribute. We have the opportunity to give back. It's one of the basic principles of the science of mind and the Centers for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley is that there's this exquisite cycle that takes place in all parts of our life. When we talk to our neighbor and we're polite and we're friendly, the neighbor reciprocates with their presence, or the neighbor brings you cookies or what have you. This cycle, as we give out, it comes back to us. And that is what I invite you to do here, is to give to CSL Boulder Valley. Maybe it's your time. Maybe you want to come volunteer at the in-person service. Maybe you want to work on social media stuff. Whatever it is, if you want to give your time, please do that. If you want to give your talent, give that. If you want to give your treasure, give that. I invite us to say this offering affirmation together. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. There's two different ways to give online. You can go to our website, cslbouldervalley.org, or you can go to the newsletter and you can actually sign up for the newsletter on the website. At the bottom of the newsletter, there's several different ways you can give monetarily. I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share. And we're going to open it up for the community connections portion. And I invite people to go ahead and unmute. This is a great way for us all to hear each other, to hear the little dog barking in the background. Maybe it's one of Kathy's beautiful dogs.